Hey, don't we? Oh, man. So we got Mike Johnson, and Trump got it done. And what President Trump did was absolutely amazing, okay? And so the first vote, they don't have enough votes. You know, the media and the Democrats are loving it, because they tell themselves, oh, it's over. MAGA's divided. They're going to get a speaker by the end of the day, but this is going to go 8 votes. It's going to go 12 votes. I'm watching Jake Tapper on CNN. I'm watching, Dana Bash all day. I'm watching this coverage, and they're just loving it. Oh, MAGA's divided. MAGA's divided. And these holdouts are so smug. And then they take a break. And after the first vote came down, all right, you could see a little bit of the lip readers and everything at work with Mike Johnson. And Mike Johnson's talking to his people. And you get some hand motions. And Mike Johnson, at least the analyst thought from reading the lips and looking at his hand movements, Mike Johnson wanted to do the vote right away. Wanted to do it right away. And it didn't happen, right? So, there's wheeling and dealing going on, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be all day. It's going to be all night. And then they come back for the second vote, and he gets it. And then what do we find out? Trump made a couple calls during the break, and that was it. Trump made it happen. That's it. Trump made it happen. And, you got to ask yourself a couple questions. Is the way that it came down today exactly like Trump wanted it to come down or not? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, okay? By the way, if you're new to my channel, my name's Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Subscribe if you're new. If you're already subscribed, do me the favor of liking the video. So, what happened, because I know the first thought that everybody will have is, no. Trump wanted unity. He wanted this vote to go down right away. And the way that it went down isn't how Trump wanted it to go down. And maybe that does seem like the obvious answer, but maybe that's not what happened. Because Johnson didn't get the votes. We have this slim majority. And with Trump making 2 phone calls and making it happen, as soon as he made the phone calls, it makes it look like what's happening. That Donald Trump is in charge of this new Congress. That Donald Trump is the leader of the Republican Party, of the MAGA movement. He's a strong president, not some weakling president. They didn't have to go and beg, borrow, and bribe these House members to vote. Trump called them, had a conversation, the contents of which we may never know fully or at all, who knows. But Trump made 2 phone calls and got the Congress to elect Mike Johnson. That's power, that's unity, that is the message of the day, and that's what we wanted to show. That not only is Trump reelected, but he's back with a mandate, and Trump is a very strong, very powerful, very influential president. And boom, just like that. So with this new MAGA Congress that we have, led by President Trump, this is how it's going to be. We're going to get the entire Trump MAGA agenda done. It's going to happen. It's going to be just as easy as today. And that's it, And if you don't go along with the Trump agenda and you're a Republican, you're, well, in 2 years you won't have a job. That's it. I think it's masterful. I mean, I know it's hard for a lot of people to accept that we've won, but we've won. You know, we fought so hard, especially these last 4 years, for Trump to return to the White House. He's in the White House. He's got a mandate. He's commanding Congress. He's getting done what he wants to get done, and boom, that's it. And this is how he's going to get everything done. We're going to get the wall finished, the deportations. Tom Homan said catch and release is over on day one. That's January 20th, right after noon, when Trump takes the oath of office. We've got the whole thing wrapped up. And it's, I know it, and I was talking about on the stream this morning on the radio, a lot of our MAGA brothers and sisters have not accepted that we've won. And, you know, when for 10 years we've been in fight activist mode, and now we're in charge, it's going to take a while for some people to understand that. But that is where we're at, man, and it's great. Absolutely, it is great. You know, what Trump did with that speaker's vote today was just so smooth and so easy and so without effort. And, you know, I knew that, you know, we were going to get Johnson as the speaker. We knew it wouldn't be someone else, but we thought it was going to be 4, 5, 6, 10, 12 votes. And for Trump to show everybody, you know, this morning what I said is today, even though the 20th hasn't happened yet, today is the first day of Trump's second term. Because the speakership vote and the way the speakership vote was going to go down was going to show whether or not Trump is strong in Washington or isn't. And this is not the same Congress we had in Trump's first term. You know, we had that snake Paul Ryan and all the minions around him in the House, and Mitch McConnell and all those people in the Senate. And not only did they not cooperate with Trump, they did everything in their power to stop Trump from accomplishing things. Remember, we had the House and the Senate under our control in Trump's first 2 years of his first term, but we had these fake Republican rhinos screwing everything up. And it's just not that way. This is a new Congress. You know, Mike Johnson, when the budget thing happened a couple weeks ago, which sucked, Mike Johnson said in March, we're going to have the new budget. He says it's going to, you know, this was last month. He said, when January gets here, this is going to be a whole new place, a whole new Congress, a whole new city. It's not going to be the same Congress we have now. And boom, it's not. I mean, I wish Matt Gaetz was there, you know. It would have been nice if Matt Gaetz was there, but he is unfortunately not on OAN. But, you know, and I know a lot of people are going to gripe about Mike Johnson. Hey, you know, Marjorie Taylor Greene said it best, right? That's who Trump wants. Put the egos aside and get behind Mike Johnson. And when Mike Johnson got elected speaker today and he entered the chamber, Marjorie Taylor Greene was clapping, smiling ear to ear, and she gave Mike Johnson a big old hug. Did you see it? So, you know. In fact, I haven't seen Marjorie Taylor Greene so happy in the House of Representatives maybe ever. So if Marjorie Taylor Greene is happy, we should be happy. No doubt about it. So this is awesome. So we got them. Now we can start getting legislation passed. You know, that's what's important. You know, President Trump can come in and sign 10 million executive orders, but the next president can just toss them out. You know, and we don't want everything done by executive order because it's reversed too easily. We in these 2 years that we know we have both houses of Congress and the White House, we need to get as much of the Trump agenda passed as legislation as possible, which includes the massive tax cuts, no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime, make the Trump tax cuts permanent that he had from his first term. You know, all these things have to be done, and they have to be done through the House, the Senate, and then boom, to Trump's desk to sign. Because as great as things are going right now, at some point in the future, I know I don't want to think about it because it's a long way off, but at some point in the future, the Democrats are going to be in charge again. And when the Democrats are in charge, they're going to get their crap done. So while we're in charge, you know, you've got to act like you want it, which is what's going on right now. You know, in the past, when Republicans before Trump sucked. They just sucked because Republicans would win the House and the Senate, and they would act like they were losers. They would bend to the bullies on the left, and then all of a sudden they'd split the committees and the power, and oh, we want to be fair, we want to be bipartisan, and they share the chairmanships of all the committees. They give the Democrats everything they want. That's not how you do it. When you win the election, you run the government like you won because the American people elected you. So we won everything. Trump has a mandate. Republicans have a mandate. It's time to get all this stuff done. This is exciting. I mean, I cannot wait. I cannot wait until January 20th. January 20th cannot get here soon enough. You know, and when it does, when Trump starts doing things, the orders, the legislation, all this, the Democrats, the left, the media are going to have meltdowns. Just complete meltdowns. And that's going to be great. Because if they're happy, that means we're not doing our job, right? We don't want the Democrats to be happy. We don't want the media approving of Trump. We just want to win. And this week, because it's still New Year's week, is really kind of a holiday. I didn't realize the kids were still out of school until I saw the kids in my neighborhood out today. So next week, holidays are over. The election is going to be certified on the 6th, and by Kamala Harris, if they can sober her up. You know, did you see the video, by the way, of Kamala today? Okay. In the Senate, she went to start the Senate with the Pledge of Allegiance, and she messed up the Pledge of Allegiance. Did you see that? She didn't know it. She started it off wrong. And the reason that happened to her is because she grew up in Canada. I don't know what they do in the mornings in Canada, but they don't say the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States. So she didn't grow up with the Pledge of Allegiance in school. So she doesn't even know. All of us, we know it by heart. We don't have to think about it. Not Kamala. She didn't grow up, because she's African Canadian, not African American, or Indian Canadian, not Indian American. This is great. Now, I just got an alert that said this corrupt judge in New York with that hush money case is going to do the sentencing on the 10th of this month of Trump. See, that's what I'm talking about. These people are never going to stop. They're just never going to stop. See my watch? Got President Trump on my watch face there. Pretty cool, huh? He's pointing to the time. Bring it on. You know, let the American people see what they're all about. You know, that's how Democrats are. Democrats are just evil. They're just evil. There's no getting around it. You know, you see how they behave, right? All these cases against President Trump are complete BS, and they're still continuing them, even though he's been reelected. And the Supreme Court has ruled that, you know, he's got privilege and everything else. They just don't care. And I know a lot of people say, well, how can these judges go against the Supreme Court? Well, it's pretty simple. It's because the Supreme Court, they make rulings. They don't have any enforcement power, right? So these judges, if they sentence Trump, make rulings against Trump and everything else, and it goes against what the Supreme Court says, President Trump has to appeal them still. I mean, what can the Supreme Court do to a local judge to stop him from sentencing Trump, even though the Supreme Court says he can't be prosecuted, he's got executive privilege? There's nothing they could do except overrule that judge when he does it. That's even if I were a Democrat, I'd be disgusted at the way they're operating. And that's why so many Democrats voted for Trump in the last election, because they're so sickened by the way they operate. But these Washington insiders, they view Trump as an outsider. The permanent Washington class is what Tucker Carlson calls them all the time, right? And there's no better display of this permanent Washington class that think that there's some type of nobility than when Biden gave that presidential medal to Liz Cheney for her corrupt J6 committee work, which was criminal. It's almost like Joe Biden wanted to permanently damage Liz Cheney. I don't know what that was about. I don't know. But it shows you how the Republican establishment and the Democrat establishment are that uniparty. We haven't talked about the uniparty too much because we defeated the Republican establishment. So the uniparty, has been defeated, but there's still some holdouts in the old guard in the Rhino Republican establishment, and Liz Cheney is one of them. I mean, it's amazing to me that you would think her father would say to Liz Cheney, you don't want to go take that medal. You don't want to accept that medal from Joe Biden. But the fact is, I bet you that Dick Cheney was proud of his daughter. I bet you Dick Cheney was proud of his daughter for getting that medal from Biden. A friend of mine just sent me a text about the Judge Mershon. Judge Mershon in New York, sentencing Trump after all this, instead of throwing the case out, he is probably the most openly corrupt judge in history. There's been corrupt judges, in this country, but has any judge been so openly corrupt, right? His daughter raised $100 million, maybe even more, from Democrats, promising to put Trump in prison. Mershon had reserved seats in his courtroom so his daughter could bring clients in and sit there and watch Trump on trial. So basically selling seats in his own courtroom. This guy is so corrupt. But Attorney General Pam Bondi, she's tough, man. Pam Bondi is tough. Pam Bondi could investigate Mershon, and Mershon could end up on charges. The daughter raising all this money, she's a partner. That Mershon's daughter is a partner in that Democrat fundraising company. Like, she's like an equity partner, like law firms have. She's part owner of that Democrat fundraising arm. And it's not that she's some great fundraiser that can raise all this money. It's that her dad's the judge over the Trump case. That's how she's raising it all. So Mershon's daughter is to him what Hunter is to Joe, right? She's like the money mule. And Pam Bondi, there's no way that Pam Bondi is not going to look into Judge Mershon. There's just no freaking way. You know what they say? Follow the money. Follow the money. Let him do it. Let him do it. All this persecution, I know it's upsetting to a lot of people. All this lawfare persecution of President Trump is a big factor that got him reelected. Getting shot too, and all of that. All these things that the establishment, uniparty, the Democrats, the corrupt judges, Fani Willis, Judge Mershon, all these things. The American people You know, as partisan as the country is on a lot of issues, you know, the American people want to be able to trust the judicial system. You know, and people, you know, even on the left, they want to be able to trust the judicial system. They may say, okay, you know, a lot of liberals will say, oh, you know, I don't like the cops, or the cops are corrupt. But they trust, they at least like to be able to trust judges. And when you see corrupt prosecutors and corrupt judges arrest and put on trial a 100% innocent man who's a president of the United States and a billionaire, people don't like that. And it scares people, even liberal people, even Democrats. And they say, well, if they can do that to a billionaire president, what could they do to me if they didn't like me? And that's exactly right. We'd be toast. So the lawfare, everything they've done against Trump has backfired on them. So let him keep doing it. Let them keep screwing themselves over, because that's what they're doing. Now, if you're new to my channel, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure you subscribe. You know, and they not only will Pam Bondi look into Judge Mershon, he'll look into Letitia and Fannie and the whole thing. Because not only is Trump back in the White House, all the agencies of government are going to be run by his appointees. So this isn't like the old days when they had government shredders that could shred or burn in burn bags all the damning evidence. Everything is electronic now and stored on multiple databases. So they can't just get out shredders. There is a trail of all this lawfare corruption in government computers all over D.C. that Kash Patel and Pam Bondi and Trump and everyone else are going to have access to. And I would not be surprised if you see some of these people leave the country. It wouldn't surprise me at all. You know, places where they don't have extradition. I don't know where that is, but they very well may. Because they're, you know, these lawfare people have the late stages of Trump derangement syndrome. And they truly feel that what they did was patriotic. Like Liz Cheney. Liz Cheney doesn't view herself as some corrupt woman that got run out of Congress. Liz Cheney views herself as an American patriot, just like all these others, like Jack Smith and the rest, right? And I know they're sick, and they thought that they would win, and Trump would be in prison or discredited. They never, ever, ever imagined in their wildest dreams he was going to make it back into the White House. It just never occurred to them that would even be remotely possible. And now he's back. And the people he's bringing in are I heard someone, I can't remember who said this. It was someone I talked to on the air, told me that the cabinet picks that Donald Trump has made are disruptors. They're not establishment, they're disruptors. I can't remember who told me that. And that's true. These are really tough people. They have no allegiance to the people in D.C. They just, you know, Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Pete Hegseth, they despise these people in D.C. and they want to expose them and bring them to justice. In the first term, President Trump didn't have disruptors around him in his cabinet, not like he has now. Most of them were part of the swamp. These are people from outside the swamp. Oh yeah, believe me, Jack Smith, all these people, his team, his staff, they're in a panic. But everything today went perfectly, because at the end of the speakership vote, what came out of it? That Trump is in charge. He made 2 phone calls, boom, Johnson's speaker. That's right. That's right. That's a great thing. That's an unbelievably great thing. I know it's a beautiful day here in Florida. Now, they're saying I want you to think about this, okay? Now, the sentencing in New York is going to be before Inauguration Day, and Judge Merchan not only is going to sentence President Trump before Inauguration Day, he's saying that President Trump has to show up in person in New York to be sentenced by this sick, twisted, corrupt judge. In what world does I know he's still president-elect, but in what world does a president of the United States have to show up in front of some corrupt judge to be sentenced in a case that he shouldn't have even been charged with? Oh, this is, for the, you got to ask yourself with the judge, right? What's the deal with the judge? Is the judge doing this because the Democrats that donated all the money to his daughter are controlling him and having him do this, or is this judge him? And he's in a position because the daughter raised all the money on this promise, or is the judge sick and thinks that he's got the authority to bring a president of the United States into his courtroom in New York City right before he's inaugurated? He's already been president. He's going to be president again in a few days. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. But I'll tell you, there's a good chance that Judge Merchan could end up in prison. And judges have gone to prison. Congressmen have gone to prison. Just because you're a judge does not mean you are above the law and can't go to prison. It's happened. This Judge Merchan is in it so deep. If he had any sense, he would just toss the whole thing out. But he can't. So I don't know if it's because his daughter took the money and it's the corruption, or if he's just a sick, twisted, Trump derangement syndrome suffering Democrat. I don't know. But I know this, that no matter what they throw at Trump, he always comes out on top. I mean, he literally dodged a speeding bullet, right? So, whatever happens, Trump will end up on top. That's it. He'll win, because he always does. That's just the way it is. And it's bizarre to me that these Democrats, like this corrupt judge, don't realize it. Do you think Letitia's going to be sitting there? Remember when Letitia James was sitting in the courtroom looking at him all posing? She was taking some historic photograph. She thinks she's like Rosa Parks on the bus. It's really a disgrace when you think about it. But it's also fun because we know Trump's going to win out on this. It's awful. Democrats are just stupid. That Trump derangement syndrome is a pretty serious condition. I'm celebrating. This is a caffeine drink, so I need a little caffeine burst. Oh, this is great. This is everything we've been hoping for. I mean, I keep calling it the Trump miracle because it is. I mean, everything they've done, just in the last 4 years, forgetting about all the stuff they did in his first term, but just in the last 4 years since he left office after his first term, look at all the crap they put him through, and look where he's at now. And still, they can't accept it. He's just never going to be legit in their mind, And he's going to go to President Carter's funeral, So he's going to be sitting there with all of these other presidents and Democrats that have been trying to put him in prison, and he's going to be sitting there at the head of the table because he's the new president. Oh, this is great stuff. I love it. Now, if you're new, make sure you subscribe. My name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I'll be back throughout the whole weekend because so much has happened. I'll have some new podcasts up with my wife over the weekend and some live streams and taking live calls too. So click the notification bell if you're already subscribed so you get a notification when I go live. All right? I'll see you on the next stream. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care.